Hi, everyone. It's Mitch from PickDogs.com. I've got the Puck Dogs with me, Chris and Rod. Never get this right, so just do one of these. Anyways, the Puck Dogs are with me. Of course, their picks have been crazy, crazy good the last several shows that they've been on. Chris, of course, had that rotten first show, but just goes to show you one bad day does not make anything. It just means you had a bad day. And, of course, we've got Monday Night Football. We've got 5 NHL games, including my dog of the day. See what these guys have to say about that. And, of course, got 6 NBA games. College basketball today kicks off the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And, it's just 2 of those games today. And then the next 2 days, really some of the best, some great matchups. We're finally going to get to see some teams play each other. I think that for some of those matchups in the ACC Big Ten, maybe a little disappointing at this point, like the Duke-Michigan State game, probably not what we had hoped it was going to be. I kind of was hoping for more of a for some. I think when we look at who's there and who's not in some of these games, but I think North Carolina, Ohio State is a monster matchup. That easily could be a Final Four matchup as well. So, guys, how's it going?
Fantastic.
Rod?
Going good. Going good.
Guys, enjoy your NFL Sunday yesterday. It was kind of doggy out there. I had the under in that Sunday Night Football game, and then the Texans let Tom Brady throw the ball down the field on that last drive. I was just like, what are you doing? At that point, I say to myself, I hope you lose. Like when you do that, I just say to myself, Patriots recover that onside kick. Who knows what happens. But
Oh yeah, it was close.
it was
The guy
super
had his
close.
hand on it. He had his hand on it. He
He
was
had it.
almost got left
You
it.
can't you can't do an onside kick in the NFL much better than that.
You know.
But
But yeah, that crazy drive. They just let him roll right down the field.
yeah, I
They
didn't
just like,
understand.
yeah, just go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, unless you're up by 3 scores, I don't see that one. I don't understand it. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. That's for sure. It was kind of a microcosm of my day. The picks I gave out on the show, my free picks were lights out, and my premium picks were kind of like, eh. But I swept the NBA card yesterday, so and swept my NBA premium picks, and my NBA has been red hot. So I'll stick with it. I know even on YouTube, I'm hardly getting any comments, which is a good thing. The only comments I got was that I picked the Mavericks over the Lakers yesterday, and I got a few positive comments on that one. But normally when you don't get a lot of comments there on YouTube, that's a pretty good thing. It's like, but of course, please subscribe to our channel and everything else. But I'll start off with Monday Night Football. We got the Vikings and the Seahawks, and this game is really 2 very good teams. Seattle, a tough building. Minnesota, of course, their home is pretty tough, and Seattle wants to stay as far away from there as possible in the playoffs. These are 2 teams that would really benefit from the home field in the playoffs. That's for sure. And we're kind of at that stage with the 49ers losing to the Ravens yesterday. It knocks the Seahawks back into the home field advantage for the NFC, something that people aren't talking about right now because the Patriots are out of the home field advantage for the AFC. A couple weeks ago, I said it's going to be the Seahawks and the Ravens, and right now, those are the 2 teams with the home field advantage. So, looking like a solid pick. Of course, we're far from over in the NFL, but I think in tonight's game, these are 2 teams that play some solid defense, and I expect to see a lot of defense. I expect to see a lot of penalties in this game on both sides of the ball. Offensive, expect to see a ton of holding in here. I expect to see a lot of, just a lot of penalties. It's just not saying that the skill level of these teams aren't there. I just think that it's that kind of game. I like the under in tonight's game, and that's going to be my free pick there. But we head to the ice. Let's see what we got cooking. I just kind of do the format that we've been doing. We don't have a ton of games today, so I'll just go down the list and see what you guys come up with. Anything surprised you in the last couple of days since we last talked on Saturday in NHL? I mean, we had the Leafs won that game, right? But the game went to overtime against Buffalo. Rod had Buffalo in that game. Chris had the Leafs. I think we all lost. I think Chris had the puck line, and Rod had the Buffalo, and that's what you call. That's like when you bet a money line on a 2.5 point favorite that on a 2.5 point dog that loses by 1 point. Or by 1 or 2. That's exactly what happened to us in that game. But we got the Rangers back on the ice. They're home dogs here against Vegas, who you guys have kind of been down on recently. They haven't been playing the best hockey. The Rangers have kind of picked it up. Lundqvist plus 125 here. They were plus 115. A little bit of money here on the Knights. Chris?
Yeah, this line feels a little bit fishy to me. Vegas favored on the road. Haven't been a great road team historically. New York's been stepping up their game at home. And, the Vegas hasn't been able to put a 3-game winning streak together. I don't see it happening here. Rangers are playing too well, especially at home. I like the Rangers at plus 115.
I see them at plus 125 here.
Okay. Yeah, I got refresh.
But anyways, there's different lines at different places.
Yeah. No, I got now plus 125 too. I'll take it.
And how about you, Rod? What are you thinking here?
I like that too. Vegas is 3-9 in their last 12. Rangers are these are two teams going in opposite directions. The Rangers have won 6 of their last 7, and both goalies have been actually their starter Lundqvist and their backup have been playing good. Dropped the team ERA by 1 at least. So I got to go with the Rangers here too. Go with the hotter team.
Rangers are.
I also like the over here. I think we might see some goals. I see a 4-3 game.
How about New Jersey and Buffalo? See anything there? Another, not an outrageous line. Most of the games today, outside of the Red Wings, who Rod is a big fan of, they all these lines are are very bettable numbers that we have here, even without puck lines. But we got Buffalo up against the Devils. Devils 9-12-1. Buffalo has a winning record here, but just minus 130 here at home. They haven't been playing great lately, and I think that has a lot to do with it. And the Devils, they haven't been playing great either. Rod, what are you thinking about this one between Buffalo and the Devils?
Two teams that really haven't done a whole lot this year, but for some reason the Devils have Buffalo's number the last how many ever games. Devils are 12-4 the last 16 against Buffalo. So I'm going to take Jersey here. Jersey on the money line, and I'm also going to take the under. I don't see a whole lot of goals. I see a lot of hitting and beating each other up. The under is 31, 14, and 6 in the last how many, so I'm going to go under and the Devils.
Okay, how about you, Chris?
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take Buffalo minus 130. I just think the wheels are falling off for the Devils right now. They lost 4-0 to the Rangers, gave up 2 shorthanded goals in the span of 3 minutes. And now there's word that their best player, Taylor Hall, is being shopped around. I just think there's a lot of turmoil going on with New Jersey, and losing another game on the road isn't going to be anything different. I like Buffalo at home here where they play their best hockey.
All right. I'm told there's an echo on the show. Is anybody else hearing that? It could be from somebody's computer or something like that. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. If anyone else is hearing an echo, let me know. I have a question on the board here. When is the big release of Pick Dog's gear? There is no big release yet. I'm still working on this stuff, but I have a link on the site where you can buy some shirts and hoodies and stuff. But I'm going to have something different in the future. But in the meantime, at least I wanted to put something out there. So everyone is saying that there is an echo. I'm wondering what that is. Is it when somebody specifically is talking, or just in general on the show? So you guys, is it when I'm talking, or is it when Rod is talking, or Chris is talking, or just everybody? There's an echo. So just let me know on that, because I don't hear it on my end. I don't hear anything. I don't have any sound out. So it's hard for me to tell. But if you guys could help me with that. But like I said, on the website, there's a link. there's a link that there's a link on the bottom of every article, and it says like you can buy a Pick Dog shirt or something there. But it's like I'm still working on the hats and other shirts and gear and stuff. I just wanted to get something out there. I ordered actually a few of those shirts myself. I'm gonna start wearing those in the videos. It's the different logo. It's the logo that you see down in the bottom over here, well, right below Chris. It's that logo, not this logo. We have multiple logos for Pick Dogs. I hear Rod and Chris talking. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So, is it echo when they're talking or when I'm talking? Because if it's when they're talking, then I know what the problem is. If it's when
I hear something that sounds like a fan.
That's my computer. That's my computer.
Oh, okay. That's all.
The fan is my computer, and it's actually super, super low. It's because I always push my computer to the limit of all limits. I have like the super, i9, $8,000 computer, and I have to tell you, I push it to the limit every single time I use it, and it just.
That's all I hear. I don't hear any echoing. It doesn't sound like we're yodeling.
It's when Chris is talking, is what they're saying.
Yodel, Chris. Yodeling.
It's when you guys are talking. So, figure it out. Let's see what happens. Huh. I wonder if it's my microphone picking it up off of the computer. That's all I can think that it would be. All right. Well, anyways, we'll figure it out. I mean, we do the show all the time, and no one ever says anything about the echo. So it's like I'm not doing anything differently than I normally do. We'll keep going. We're gonna go through all the NHL games, so we don't need to do it. Let's see. Good morning to everyone. Sorry about the echo. Hopefully it's bearable. Holy Cross Mercer. Yeah, we're not gonna do the free for all today. We're just gonna go through some games. So India's saying that it's when you guys are talking. It's got to be something to do with my microphones. I just need to. I wonder if I have a bad setting. Let me see. Sorry to everyone out there, but shoot. There's audio and video, microphone. All right, talk now, guys. Say Buffalo. Say Puck Dogs.
Puck Dogs.
You guys still hearing it now? I just changed my microphone.
Whatever that noise was is gone now, dude.
Yeah, I adjusted my microphone, so maybe that changes everything. I was using, for some reason, it was using my computer microphone, and now it's not. All right, so I'm hearing that it sounds better. Anyways, let me get to it. I'll do an NBA game here while we're. I did NBA videos on everything. So I do NBA videos now every day. But I was looking at this game between the Knicks and the Bucks, and I have to say that. The Knicks are horrible, but this is one of those situations where this is what we've cashed on in the dog of the day like all those years. This is this type of game, and it's where you have the best team in the East against the worst team in the East, and sometimes in these games with point spreads, a lot of times in these games with point spreads, the good team has to lay too many points and the bad team gets too many points, and I think that's been the case with these Knicks games. The Knicks get too many. They're just 2-8 straight up in their last 10, but 5-5 against the number of the Bucks. Once again, it's like the Alabama syndrome, where it's like, they just lay way too many points, and here they are, laying 16.5, 10-0. They've won 11 games in a row at this point, but just 4-6 against the number in their last 10. I'm going to take the Knicks in this one. I could see it happening. Uh, Also, the Bucks, they had that blowout win on the last time they were out. So we've seen in the last 2 days, two teams score 150 points. Western Conference teams. I don't think that happens here in this game. I think this one is more one where the Bucks take their foot off the gas at the end, which we've seen them do. And I like the Knicks here. But anyways, let's go back to the ice. And we go to the Red Wings and the Islanders. Islanders minus 200 in this one. Total set at 5.5. Hockey Town USA got to be disappointing. 7-19-2. And I always thought the Red Wings, like when I think NHL, I think the Red Wings, from an American standpoint, the Red Wings is one of the coolest things there is in hockey. It's like an original team. They got the, nice red jersey with the, they're cool, right? Gordie Howe played for the Red Wings.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Steve Yzerman. I mean, they had some great teams, not all that long ago. But those days have come and gone. Chris Pronger, right?
Chris Pronger, yeah. Chris Pronger was good. There were lots of Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
That were.
Those guys, they could play.
How can you get? I can't get in front of this 9-game losing streak.
Who was the Russian center that they had that was also really
Fedorov.
Oh yeah, he was amazing, right? He was like one of the first Russians to come over into the NHL, and he was just like, it was kind of like when Aroldis Chapman went to Major League Baseball, like when the Cuban baseball players finally started coming over. And like everyone knew Aroldis Chapman was going to be great, and all of a sudden he gets out onto the mound, and his first pitch is 104 miles an hour, on the gun, and they show it up on the board, and it was like, whoa,
Whoa.
And I think Fedorov hitting the ice in Detroit was the same thing. It was just like, what the hell are we going to do now, And pretty much opened the door. Of course, there's other great Russian players, but back in that era, he was the guy. But they could use Fedorov now, that's for sure.
They need a couple of those. They need a couple of Fedorovs.
Yeah, they need a couple Fedorovs right now. But the Red Wings and the Avalanche had a great rivalry back in the day. There, it wasn't all that long ago. We're talking about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But a rivalry no longer. We got the Islanders, who's 17-5-2, minus 200 in this one. You got to bet $200 to win 100, which. It's not really in my vocabulary, especially on the road, but, they got 6 wins in their last 10 games. So it's hardly inspiring. What do you guys think? Any chance at all that the Red Wings cover? Or, how about this 5.5, in what's seen as a blowout game? Rod, I know you have a few opinions about the Red Wings.
Yeah, the Islanders play this defensive style, kind of like the new version of the hockey trap, I call it, because they're not going to score high scoring either. They win games 2-0, 3-0. They're a lower scoring team as well. They don't blow teams out. So. This Islander minus 200. Yeah, I'm not laying minus 200 with the Islanders. That's just crazy. But I think Islanders do win this game, and I also like the Islanders. I see this game as 4-1. I'm going to take the Islanders minus 2.5 plus 220.
Minus 2.5 on the Islanders. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm on the same here. I'm gonna do 3 different bets. I'm gonna go all puck line minus 120 or minus 1.5 at plus 125, minus 2.5 at plus 220. I'm gonna even go up to minus 3.5 at plus 450. This game I think is a rout.
So this is kind of like a circle game. So those people that do parlays out there that don't mind laying a little bit of juice at the minus 200, because we see a lot of these people in our Facebook group. This is a key game for them, right? One that it's a must in their parlays. Is that what you're saying here, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not going to use the L word because
if you're
we don't use the L word, but I'm just saying that like if you're a parlay player and you're looking for that one game to kind of be that anchor 3rd, 4th game in your 9-team parlay that we see out there in our Facebook group. this is a game that you want to include there, right?
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Then if you're going to include this game in your parlay, then I don't know. I don't like this game. That's just a bad idea. Putting
I mean,
it
personally,
is that one game, but I'm not a money line parlay guy. I'm -200, -400.
I think that if you're going to try to get a little bit of value on it and put it in a parlay, I'd probably just take the Islanders in regulation and get -130.
Yeah, that's better. That's better than -200. But.
All right, I don't mind -200 if it's a really really strong. I mean, sometimes you have to bet it. You know, I bet Manny Pacquiao to beat Juan Manuel Marquez and Pacquiao Marquez too. He was -230. I bet it. You know, it's like it's I'm not looking for -200. I'm not enamored with favorites where I always have to reach. But I'm just saying, if we have a game which is a strong bet, the probability might be better than 2-1 here. You know, that the Islanders beat the Red Wings. So it's like, if the probability beats the odds, well, you don't have to go all in, because the risk is going to be high. You know, having to bet 200 to win 100, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to leave money on the table. You know, it's like when you have, when you have a freebie. You know, and it's like, if both of you guys feel that strongly about it, well, then, you know, maybe I do too. You know, that's all I'm saying. You know, it's like, I'm just saying, I've seen your guys' bets before, and it leads us to our comment here that his buddy says, puck dogs have been on fire. I think I need to fade the NFL for a while and start betting NHL. Keep up the great role. Yeah, these guys have been on fire, and you know, I'm excited. We're going to have a Puck Dogs premium, probably at least 2 weeks away from that, where these guys will give out premium picks in their hockey, and you know, they do other sports too. It's just, I like saying Puck Dogs, and you know, the thing is that you know, it's what we do on premium picks or anything like that never is going to supersede what we do on the free side. We're never going to say, well, you know, we're not going to do free picks anymore because we only want to do premium picks, or we're only going to give selected. You know, it's like, we're still going to give out tons. Like, even in the Monday Night Football, where I have a premium pick, I still gave out a pick on the total, right, on the show. So we're not going to let that happen. But at the same time, you know, we're not going to give out the premium picks on the free picks show. Just whatever. We've been doing it for years, so I'm not really all that concerned about it. What I am concerned about is the Memphis Grizzlies defense. This is a team in some serious problem. How about that for the transition? We got a team that plays no defense in a week of NBA blowouts, right? We've had blowouts the last 2 nights. I mean, blowouts of epic proportion, like record-breaking blowouts, you know? And, you know, one of the games yesterday that wasn't even in that discussion was a good team getting blown out in Toronto by the Raptors, you know, the Jazz, who've been playing great defense. But when you only score 37 points in the first half against the defending NBA champions, with or without Kawhi Leonard, you're not going to win. You know, you can't score 37 and win. Eventually, you need to score. The whole Virginia thing works in college, you know, where you score 46 points and win. That against Maine, right? That works at the college level. It does not work in the NBA level. The guys are too good. You know, they can. I mean, Steph Curry, right? He hits from the locker room. Right? He throws the ball in from the tunnel, and he can hit it. And not just, you know, it's not just, oh, he got lucky and hit it for a YouTube video. I mean, he does it on a regular basis, and he's not alone. I mean, most of these guys, to me, when I watch NBA basketball, to me, it's more amazing when they miss a shot than when they make it. You know, it's like, these guys are just ridiculously good. But one thing about the Grizzlies team is they have been covering at home, but just 5-7 this year. The thing about the Pacers is they've really come on strong. They're 3-5 on the road, straight up, 4-4 against the number, but 7-3 in their last 10 games. This is a 12-win team, right? So when you look, it's early in the season enough that we can kind of drill down. So you take that 7-3 away, they were only 5-4 before this whole thing started. Now they're 12-7, starting to cause that separation. But the Grizzlies, of course, are without Ja Morant. He's their only player that is really good, that I would say. And overall, I think the Grizz are in trouble in this one. I didn't give it out as a premium pick because I hate laying such big numbers on the road. But I can see the Pacers really doing some damage here. I know they've really struggled in Memphis, 7-16 against the spread in the last 23 meetings. But when you look at those Memphis teams, those are different teams than this team. This is a broken down team and a team that is certainly building for the future. They have the building block in place, but maybe a little different methodology of getting there. I could see Indiana really doing some damage here because you have a team that allows 104 points a game against a team that allows 117 points a game. You have teams that score about the same. So I don't know. I'm going to go with the Pacers here and lay the 9.5. We'll go back to the NHL. I gave out this game in the video today, which is rare, but we got the Blues taking on the Blackhawks at the United Center. Corey Crawford and Binnington in the net for this one. The Blackhawks plus 110. 62% of the public here on the Blues. The Blues, obviously defending Stanley Cup champions, 17-5-3. The Blackhawks 10-11, lost 5 of their last 6 games. I don't know. Plus 110 at home. They've dominated the Blues, that's for sure. But plus 110.
I smell fish. I really smell fish. Why are the Blues only minus 130?
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense to me. How could they only be 130?
I don't really see it.
The records are is insane.
I know the Blackhawks are a public team and a very popular team, but even so, we're talking the defending Stanley Cup champs. It's not like a hot Arizona team or something, where it's like they really don't have a public backing. Phoenix.
I dug a little more, and the Blues are 1-4. 1-4 the last 5 in Chicago.
Yep.
I don't know if that's going to flip the line, but I'm going to take Chicago here. Chicago money line at home.
How about
and
you, Chris?
I think we're going to see some goals here. The over is 7-2-1 last 10.
Yeah,
That looks like a trap to me.
it does look like a trap, but I'm gonna bite. I'm gonna go St. Louis minus 125. I mean, they're just heading in two different directions right now. St. Louis won 6 of 7. Chicago's lost 5 of 6. I mean, Chicago's form on the road 9-2, 2-1 this season.
I'm with you on all the stats, but that line doesn't say that.
No, I understand that, but I think if I'm going to get a cheap price like this, right or wrong, I'm going to take a shot on it.
I'm going to go to one of these off college basketball games that we have on the schedule. We got Kansas State going up against Florida A&M, and believe it or not, it's not a horrible Florida A&M team. Well, they're 0-5 this season, 0-3 on the road, and 2-3 against the number. Kansas State 4-2. Bruce Weber, we know this guy can coach. And Florida A&M, though, they've played a pretty decent schedule when you look at it and you say, wow, they're 0-5. Well, they played USC at Hawaii, which is I'll tell you one thing. That plane flight, nothing fun about it. And when you're an East Coast person heading out here, it makes it even worse with a 5-hour time differential. Nothing fun about it. I know it's Hawaii and it's vacation and all that kind of stuff, and that's maybe the fun part. But man, then they had to go back and play at Pacific 2 days later. So the whole time thing's still getting them. South Dakota, who's pretty good, and they only lost by 3 points in that game. And then they lost to Seton Hall, who Seton Hall's got 2 losses. They lost to Michigan State and someone else like that, right? So meanwhile, Kansas State lost the last 2 games. Not really that concerned about the Pitt loss because we've seen Pitt fight some other teams. But Bradley, nothing pretty about that. Florida A&M's got the horrific defense also. They're allowing almost 80 points a game in these games. But getting 23.5, I'll take the Rattlers in this one. I'll take Florida A&M. They have a few really good players. I know it's hard to see it, from here. But I did do the write-up on that USC Florida A&M game, and Cameron Reeves is not a bad player. Melton Jr. is not bad either. So I think they have a few players. We know Kansas State is good. We know that. But 23.5, we'll do it. Anyways, let's go to our last NHL game today, and this one is going to be Quick and the Kings visiting the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Chris, we know you don't like the Kings, but plus 125 here.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm actually going to side with LA here at plus money. I was originally leaning towards Anaheim at home, with LA being 2-9-1 on the road this season. But the Kings did finish strong in November, going 7-1-1 at home, and I think they need to carry that form over, considering 17 of their next 25 games are on the road this season. So, I mean, they have a chance to catch Anaheim, bring them back down to their level at the bottom of the Pacific Division. I think LA wins this one.
How about you, Rod?
I don't like the Kings on the road at all. They just have not been good on the road. They're not so good playing the Ducks. The Ducks haven't been so good at home this year, but I see the Ducks coming out here, and I'm going to take the Ducks minus 1.5.
All right, I'll give out one more pick. Let's see what we got. I don't know. I think I'll go to this Miami versus Illinois game, and I think when we look at the Hurricanes, they're not a great road team. They're generally not. Let's say that when they lose, they're not like a team that generally keeps it close in their losses and covers. They're a team that wins in tight games and that. But I think in this game against Illinois tonight, they're getting 9 points, and I do think that is too many in this game. We can look at Miami and their 4-3 record and Jim Larinaga and all this kind of stuff, and you can say whatever you want, but I always like to look at who did you play? Who did you play, Who have you played? And we saw when Illinois played Arizona, they lost by 21 points. They got absolutely wrecked in that game. And that was before the public caught on to our whole Arizona thing. That was short-lived, right? I mean, some of our little runs where we can sneak in there and cash a few tickets. Some of those run for months, and like the Minnesota Twins and Oakland A's, I think they lasted like 5 months this year until people finally caught on. But it's always the A's where people don't catch on, right? It's always the A's. But what happened with Arizona is all it took was 2 or 3 of these, and then when they beat San Jose State by 48 points, we were kind of done as far as point spread goes with Arizona this season. But we were able to catch it in that Illinois game. But when you look at Miami's losses, okay, they lost to Florida, who's a damn good team, and if anything, they've underperformed, the first few games of the season. They lost to Louisville, who, in hindsight, is now the number 2 team in the country, and then they lost to Connecticut by, in a game where they weren't really competitive in that game. And I think they were just flat. They came out flat. It was a neutral site game. They didn't want to be there. But in these ACC Big Ten Challenge games, generally everybody shows up, and I expect Miami to show up. I'm going to take them plus the 9 points. So we go to you guys, Chris. Who's your best plays tonight? It's a mile. There's 5 games. It's not a tiny card. It's not a big card. Where's your best bet? Obviously you like the Islanders. Is that the place?
Yeah, that's gonna be my best bet of the day, and I might parlay it with the Rangers at plus 125.
Rod?
The Rangers money line, my best bet of the day, followed by the Ducks minus 1.5.
Followed by the Ducks.
And college basketball, I'm going to take USF plus 3.5. I think Furman hasn't played anybody. Their record is a little inflated, but they haven't played anybody.
Yeah, but this is a school, and
it's almost the same. It's almost like they haven't played anybody half decent. I'll take USF plus 3.5.
Yeah, but I think what you always have to remember about Furman is that when they do play against the good teams, they usually take care of business, and they've done it in the past. It's not like it's not like this is a team that we never heard of before or anything like that. This is a team that goes to the NCAA tournament on a regular basis. I generally like to fade Furman, and I have a confession here. Back when I used to do the articles on my old site, which is I still own, and probably might be getting it back at some point. But whenever I did college games in college basketball of any college that rejected my application, I only showed pictures of them getting posterized, dunked on. And Furman was one of those schools. So anytime that you've ever seen a Furman article that I wrote, when I showed the picture on the site, it was always a Furman guy getting dunked on. So, there was a lot of schools I was rejected by. So when I used to write the articles, when it would be like the one team that you don't always have the matchup of team A versus team B for the when you're putting a picture out there to go with an article, but you can always find an article on one team or the other. And normally when you find it on the one team that you want the picture of, you can find one of especially of a Furman or something like that, of them getting just absolutely posterized, but the dunk against Duke or something, and I always showed those pictures. So if you ever look back at any of my old articles, that's it's a dead giveaway. It's like, oh man, it's like there's a whatever guy getting dunked on. Mitch must have got rejected by that school on his college applications. So I really, I picked against Furman for a long time, but I really like the way that this team shoots. And I think for me, this game, the issue that I have with the pick there in South Florida is that they only hit 57% from the free throw line, and that doesn't really matter who you're playing against. That's a statistic that sticks with you. It's kind of like hack a Shaq, right? It's like that if you hack, Shaq, he can dominate you in the middle, he could do all these different things, but if you hack him and you get him to the line, we know he can't beat you there. And South Florida, when you shoot 57.8% from the free throw line, you're not going to beat anybody. You're not going to beat anybody good. So I think that's where their issue is. I know that they're a low-scoring game. It's going to be defensively. Both these teams allow 62 points a game. But I do have a major, major concern there that South Florida only shoots 40% from the field and 57% from the line. And I don't know if that gets it done. So I'm not sure I agree with your pick there, but I get it. Anyways, Chris, so it's just Isles for you. Have any other picks, Rod, on that? Because
for me, in the NBA, I really like Charlotte and the Suns over 225. I see some scoring here.
Yeah, I could see that one for sure. Both these teams have been miserable lately. One win in forever for both of them. The weird thing is that they're both right there in the playoff hunt. It's early in the season, but you have to be there to get there, right? So it's like the Suns, I think, have run out of gas. It's kind of like, to me, what's happened to the Suns. I talk about this in the videos. Those people that watch my videos have heard me say this a million times. But what happens is that when you lose a key player, in any sport, so say when the Dodgers lose Kershaw, right? Everybody else has to move up in the rotation. Your number 2 is now your number 1, and sometimes if you have Greinke or something, there's not that big of a drop off there. Or like Scherzer and Strasburg, right? Scherzer goes out, Strasburg moves up to number 1. The disparity isn't there. It's 2, 3, 4. As you go down, and your 5th guy, he wouldn't even be starting. In normal situations, and depending on how deep your team is and your payroll, it could make a big difference. But when in basketball, which is a salary cap league in the NBA, a modified salary cap, but a salary cap nonetheless. When your guy is out for 25 games with the suspension, which it is in Phoenix, man, your whole depth takes a really, really big hit. It's like if Aaron Rodgers is out in Green Bay, right? It's like the guy that has half your payroll is out. It's a real big problem. With 8 now, it's knocked the Suns. They just don't have the depth to play night in and night out with the hustle that they need to play with in order to be competitive, what we saw, from them in the early season. So I could totally see this, where they're gassed, and, it's obviously a lot more energy to play defense than it is offense. So in any sport, hockey, basketball, any sport, football, baseball. Baseball, maybe you run the bases offensively, but defensively to catch that ball, to react and get that ball, not so easy. Not so
Yeah,
easy.
when you're half asleep, going, oh, where'd the ball go?
Yeah, I like that though. Charlotte and the Suns over. I do like that one. Chris, anything else for you? How about tonight's Monday Night Football? Who do you like?
I like Seattle laying the 2.5. Like you said, they have a chance to pull ahead of San Fran. Now they're level. They got that. I think it's at week 15. They played San Fran. And they have one more game against them. I know that game's going to mean basically the division. But I also like FAU in the college basketball +3 against St. Bonaventure, and Sixers laying 6 at home against Utah.
Sixers and 6. And who's the St. Bonnie? Who are they playing again? I was going to do a video on that one, and I didn't do it.
Florida Atlantic. It's one of those little tournament games, but it's a home game for FAU, and they're getting 3 points.
Yeah, it's a weird tournament. All right. So, Rod, any pick on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I think you got to go with Seattle at home here. I don't like Minnesota on the road. They've got their favorite QB, who's 0-7 on primetime Monday games.
How about Steve Monahan's analysis on that Sunday night game yesterday? Was he spot on or what? He just said, he just kind of said it all. He said, I have the Patriots going 13-3, and this is one of the 3. Like, that's pretty much his analysis. He was like, I have them 13-3. This is one of the 3.
And then in the morning you talked him right off the Bengals. You talked him right off the Bengals.
I did talk him off the Bengals.
He was like, Bengals. And then you were like, no, the Jets are playing. They're doing this. And he's like, okay, I'm going over here.
Yeah, that's all right, though.
It happens.
Got to hold your ground. But in the Patriots game, I thought we saw that they don't have the wide receivers. It was exactly what we were talking about on the show.
Yeah.
Where, they just, you sell your soul to the devil, to try and solve your wide receiver problems, and that doesn't work either. It's like they rolled the dice with 2 guys that, they knew were had a high percentage of fizzling out totally, and they both fizzled out. There went their entire passing game. But anyways, let's just recap it. I took the under in the Monday Night Football game, and I took the New York Knickerbockers plus the points, the Indiana Pacers minus the number, Florida A&M Rattlers plus 23.5 at Kansas State, Miami Hurricanes plus 9. Chris is on the Rangers, Buffalo, the Islanders minus 2.5, 1.5, 3.5, and regulation. He's got them all spread across the board there. The Blues minus 125. The Kings, his best bet of the day is the Islanders, all over the place. He likes the Sixers a little bit, St. Bonnie's, and the Seahawks. Rod likes the Rangers over, the under in the Devils game, minus 2.5 with the Islanders. Then he likes the Blackhawks here, and the Ducks minus 1.5 against the Kings. His best is the Rangers money line. He also likes the Ducks. Other picks, South Florida, likes the over, and the Charlotte Suns and the Seattle Seahawks tonight. So anyways, good show, everyone. I think we have a real solid card coming up. Usually Tuesday is NHL day. Let's see if it is this week.
10 games tomorrow.
10 games tomorrow, so we'll have the Puck Dogs once again. I think either we'll do this show or we'll do their own show. I think with 10 we could probably do your own show in the afternoon, but we'll figure it out after this or sometime during the day. Either way is fine with me, as I think I have just a lot of college basketball tomorrow with I think there's 7 NBA, and then all those Big East, the ACC Big Ten games. Not all of them, but half of a good portion of them are tomorrow. But anyways, Joshua's show's back up. On my halftime show, he kept saying the Patriots are going to win, the Patriots are going to win, the Patriots are going to win. I said, yeah, we hear from you guys all the time. And then after the show, after this, we never hear from you again. He said, no, I'll come back. And he did. So there it is. Yeah, I just think that, they dug themselves a hole. I think they dressed it up a little bit at the end. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a great day. We will see you. I'll see you guys at halftime of Monday Night Football should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be.